According to a study conducted by Yale University Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity, they stated that 48% of Americans drink soda, and out of that 48%, they drink an average of 2.6 glasses per day. Personally, I drink soda regularly, and there are times when I pour the soda and I spill it out of the cup. And nearly half Americans drink soda, so there should be a more efficient way to pour soda without having to pick up the bottle and possibly spill, which is why we'll be explaining how to make your very own Coke machine dispenser. First, I'm going to tell you the materials needed. The numbers on the left will correspond with the pictures and the numbers on the right. So one, you're going to need a DC mini air pump, a big tube and a small tube, a button, a 9-volt battery snap connector, wires, a 9-volt battery, cardboard or wood for the shelter depending on which one you prefer, and super glue or screws depending on which one you prefer as well. Now I will be telling you the tools needed. The numbers on the left will correspond with the numbers in the pictures on the right. You're going to need your soldering iron, your solder, your wire strippers, some method of cutting cardboard or wood, and a drill. And next I will be telling you the important things you need to know before building this machine. The first thing you'll need to know is the positive and negative leg of the pump. The positive leg of the pump is indicated with the red dot shown in the picture on the slide. Second thing you'll need to know is how to wire strip. With wire stripping, you strip the outer coating of the wire so that the metal is showing. You can either use a knife to cut this out, or you can use a wire stripper, which all you have to do is clamp it down, twist, and then pull out in order to pull out the outer part of the wire. Third and final thing you'll need to know before building this Coke machine is how to solder. With solder, you take your soldering iron and your solder, you bring it close to the wire, and then you melt the solder using the soldering iron so that it coats over the wire. This connects the wire together with whatever component you want. Now I will be going through each step in how to make the Coke machine. Step 1. Cutting and stripping the wires. You're going to cut two segments of wires so you have two separate wires cut out, and then you're going to strip both ends of each wire out, which is referenced in slide 6 when I explain how to strip wires. And then after that, you're going to strip the ends of the battery connector too, which also has two wires connected to it. Step 2 is to solder the button and the pump together. Solder one end of a wire to the negative leg of the pump, which the negative leg is referenced in slide 5, and then the second part is to take the other end of that wire and solder it to one of the legs of the button, and it does not matter which leg it is. Step 3 is to solder the battery connector to the other components. You're going to take the black wire connected to the battery connector and solder it to the other leg of the button. Then after that, you're going to take the other wire on the battery connector and solder it to the other leg of the pump, which will be the positive side of the pump. Step 4 is measuring and cutting parts for the shelter. You're going to need a shelter big enough for the 2-liter bottle, so you're going to have to measure the length, width, and height of that bottle, then create a shelter using any material, preferably wood or cardboard, that'll fit that bottle, plus shelving for the other parts as well. And you can reference the pictures for more details. After that, you're going to cut the pieces out according to your measurements and then put it together next. So in step 5, you'll be connecting the pieces together. You can either connect them using screws and a drill or super glue, depending on which route you want to take. Usually for a more simple route, use super glue and apply as needed, especially around the corners and edges. Step 8 involves connecting the tubes together. The numbers on the left will correspond with the pictures and the numbers on the right. So for one end of the little tube connects to the tip of the pump, while the other goes through the drilled bottle cap. As you can see in picture 1, they're inserting the tube into the tip of the pump. For number 2, one end of the big tube goes through the hole of the cap, while the other end goes through the hole drilled at the bottom of the shelf. Now you can see in picture 2, they have the big tube inside of the cap of the 2-liter bottle with the liquid spewing out of it. The ninth and final step involves adding the bottle and the components into the shelter. Make sure the 2-liter bottle is connected to the tubes and the components as well. You're going to take the components and put it into the shelving, and take the bottle and put it into the shelter. Make sure the tube is running through the hole, and make sure the button is also through the hole as well. In order to test out your component, press the button and see if any liquid comes out. If it does, you have successfully completed the building process of building the Coke machine. We can conclude that soda is drank by nearly half of America, so therefore being able to have a homemade Coke machine will make pouring soda more fun, more efficient, and less spillage.